Richard Pyatt. Welcome back to Pest PROspectives. We talk with the experts, the pros, the pest pros of Michigan about a number of things. Today, it's one of these ones that people ask a lot about and are concerned about because they're kind of sneaky. Bed bugs. Tony Sorrentino's back with us, Associate Certified Entomologist at the Pest Pros of Michigan, to talk about that. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Richard, how are you? It's good to see you.
Great. Good to see you. So I'm not kidding, right? Bed bugs are pretty popular as far as inquiries with you, right?
Absolutely. We've seen a resurgence since 2016 and 17. We saw a resurgence in the United States of America with bed bug activity. And that was due to the fact that people were traveling internationally and then trafficking the bed bugs back unknowingly. Then it spreads. And well, we'll get into that.
Yeah, we sure will. And unknowingly is it, because it's not like they're a cockroach or something. You generally don't see them right away, so they sneak in and get situated. How do people realize, generally speaking, that they have a bed bug problem?
So bed bugs are ectoparasites. They live near us, but not on us. They are hematophagous, which means they have to have a blood meal to survive. So that means that they've got to bite. They have to have a human host, or sometimes they'll go to animals. The facts are that they're going to bite you. They're coming to you. You are their food source. So they're going to stay close to you, but not right on top of you. But they bite. And then after they bite, there's blood stains, there's bite marks, or you're going to see insects. And if you're seeing insects, boy.
Yeah, there you are. There's your alert. But they are going to bite. So they're not on us, but near us until they're hungry. And then they're going to be on us for a little bit. And then they go away, or at least a little away. So you get the call, Tony. Somebody says, I have bed bugs. They now know this, or at least they suspect it. What does Pest Pros do? How do you respond?
So I would want to get a technician out to do a thorough inspection. There's a hot zone or a hot area, and that's going to be wherever you're sitting or sleeping. They will tend to stay within a 5-foot zone of that area, directly adjacent to, next to the recliner, or in the folds on the couch. So whenever you're sitting there on the couch, they can come out, grab a quick bite to eat, go back in. They'll be at the head of the bed. They'll be on the curtains. They're on the artwork that's hanging above the bed. These are places that you can look. If you suspect you have bed bugs, they're not always right on top of the bed. They like to have their bodies in, it's thigmotropic, is the scientific term. They like to have their bodies in close spaces, stacked on top of one on top of another. That's how they love to live.
Okay. So I have seen and heard and read about looking for them, and it coincides with what you just said. For example, what I read was look in the corners and the crevices of the mattress, because that's where they tend to get cozy, but they come out after that. You talked about being near the bed. That seems like a long hike to get to a blood meal, but they manage, obviously.
I've read somewhere they move about 4 feet per hour.
4 feet per hour.
Might seem incredibly insignificant, but if you think about 4 feet and how far a bug could travel in 8 hours or 10 hours while you're sleeping, they could go do whatever they want to do.
Seems like they'd be hungry by the time they got back. Turn around and come back for another meal, I guess. I don't know. All right. So you want to confirm that this is indeed the problem, bed bugs, right? So this inspection that you're talking about will confirm that.
Absolutely. So we're going to get our flashlights out and we're going to stand the mattress up. We're going to dismantle the bed, take the mattress and box spring off, so that we can access the places that you can't easily look, because that's where they're going to be, on the back side of the headboard. Like I said, on any artwork that may be hanging, or tapestries, or the curtains, the curtain rods, the blinds.
All right. So this is a very fastidious process because, as I say, they're not cockroaches, they're small. So you have to really do a very thorough inspection.
What you're looking for, I've heard it described, it's like a apple seed with legs, and that's a full-grown adult. So
Okay.
the juveniles, after they hatch from an egg, they go through 5 molts or instars before they reach adulthood, and they have to take a human blood meal to advance to the next stage of life. Adults need to feed every 3 to 7 days. So as long as they've got those conditions, a human blood meal and someplace to hide, they'll breed. And the females can lay 1 to 5 eggs a day.
Oh my. So obviously, this is a problem that balloons pretty quickly.
They breed incredibly quickly. Their penchant for reproduction is tremendous.
Okay. All right. So you get there, you're performing your inspection. Now you've got to come up with a plan. Let's say this is an average kind of infestation. What's the approach?
So the acceptable tolerance level for bed bugs is 0. Some situations people are like, "Oh, you don't have to worry about the basement. It's just spiders." Okay, bed bugs are not that. Bed bugs are self-sustaining as long as they have a blood meal and someplace to hide. That's it. They don't need water. They don't need any other food source besides blood, and they can live for up to a year without eating. So what you get is an incredibly difficult infestation that takes science to get after it, to understand it, and the over-the-counter products are not going to be your friend in this situation.
Okay. So you can't just go spread some pest control on it and it's done. These are going to be a multi-staged approach. Is that
Yep,
right?
absolutely. One of the most incredibly challenging aspects of bed bugs is they can go without feeding for months. So let's take a scenario with a house that's vacant and it had bed bugs. It's a rental property. The last tenants that lived there had bed bugs, and they took all the furniture out. There's still adult bed bugs that are living in the walls. Now, when people move in, there's bed bugs, and now there's a food source, and now it's going to spiral out of control again. It's self-fulfilling.
Boy, imagine that. You've just decided to rent a home. Now you've got to make sure it doesn't have an infestation.
Well, a little awareness goes a long way in situations like this. The signs that you're going to look for are going to be the fecal spotting, which is going to be the human blood meal that they've then digested. It's black staining, greasy. It's really distinctive and easy to spot if you know what you're looking for. You can look on Google and do an image search, and if you think it's that, I call a pest control company immediately.
All right. And you're going to come in and you're going to do a few things, right? Once you've confirmed the infestation. One of them is vacuuming them away, right?
Oh, yeah. So long ago, we adapted that methodology. We take HEPA vacuums, we have containment units on them, and we remove the eggs as much as possible. Any live insects, their cast skins, any of the other detritus material that's spread around on the baseboards, dust and debris. I don't want to leave anything behind. There's nothing that they can do to escape the vacuum.
Okay. Even on curtains and tapestries and things that you mentioned.
I'll take them. Then soft line items like that will go into the wash. We run them on high heat through the wash and dry. Hour and a half at 150 degrees will kill all stages of bed bug life. Eggs, live insects.
Okay.
You can't stand it.
So what comes after the vacuuming?
After the vacuuming, we're going to do a targeted product application. The product that we use for this is called Apprehend, and it's an entomopathogenic fungicide. That's a mouthful, but it's bedbug specific. It's a white fungus. It's called Bovaria bassiana, and it has entomopathogenic properties, which means it's bedbug specific. It gets on the bedbugs, and it then bears fruiting bodies through the process, and it kills the bedbugs. So after coming in contact with the live fungal spores, the bedbug dies within 3 to 7 days.
All right. So you've done this vacuuming, but you can't presume that you've gotten everything. So now the insecticide will finish the job.
Absolutely. That's the second part. And then ongoing monitoring. We're going to come back and we're going to monitor that at 1 month intervals until the infestation has been fully remediated.
Hmm. And there are some things you recommend also, like encasing mattresses? What do you encase them in?
So there's bedbug proof mattress encasements that have a zipper enclosure on them. And so those go on the mattress and the box springs underneath the feet of the beds. If it will fit, there's a interceptor that goes up and it's smooth on the inside of the cup around the inside. So if a bedbug goes up over it and into it, it can't get back out. Then it's there. And so those are
Hmm.
bedbug monitors to see what kind of activity we've got. If they're coming off of the bed, if they're coming on the bed, they can't go any further than that.
So, in most situations, after you've done the vacuuming, you've done the treatment, you've taken some of these other precautions, pretty safe to say it's a done deal. It's taken care of.
I want to monitor till I don't see any live insects. It's typical after your initial treatment to see bed bugs for up to 3 weeks. After that, I want to stop seeing them. If there's you don't want to disturb the treatment too much. You don't want to touch any of the treated areas. As I said, it's a live fungus. It's going to do its job. The bed bugs just have to pass through it. And our targeted application that we're going to treat around the bed frame, the backside of the headboard, the areas where bed bugs are going to travel, where they're coming out of hiding. They're going to run through the product. They're going to go get a bite, come back home, back through the product. They're going to drag the product back to where the other bed bugs are chilling and hiding, and it just will get colony collapse where it's just done.
Yeah. Okay. So we presume that that process takes care of a lot of it, but as you said, there has to be monitoring. In the meantime, can a person continue living in their spaces normally?
Absolutely. So it's recommended that you go back to sleeping and living how you were. If you spent all your time in the living room prior, then I want you to continue spending all your time in the living room. If you run from room to room trying to outrun the bed bugs, you will never get away from them. It will be to no avail. What'll happen is they'll just come find you because the store moved. What happens when the store moves? We got moved too. So if the food source moves, the bed bugs will come find you. They're known in multifamily situations to traverse between walls and multifamily units from unit to unit to find a human blood meal after the store moves.
So a person typically has a closet full of clothes and laundry on the floor, maybe. Maybe that's just at my house. I don't know. But nevertheless, should we be concerned about potential infestation and all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Richard, pick your clothes up and put them in the laundry and run them through a hot cycle, like I just said, and that'll kill all those bed bugs that are there. If there's bed bugs in those clothes, that goes for any soft line items, blankets, the comforters, your pillows, your stuffed animals. As long as they can go in the dryer, they're good to go. The closets, unless the closet's remarkably close to the bed, it's hit or miss. We can have a look at it and see and make sure because there's going to be telltale signs. There's going to be cast skins. There's going to be insects. There's going to be fecal spotting. There's going to be eggs wherever they're aggregating, which where they're piling up, where they're hiding in mass. There's going to be all of that there where they're at.
Okay. So follow the trail essentially, and wherever it
Absolutely.
goes, yeah, is where you're going to go. All right. How do we prevent them?
It's an awareness thing. Say I'm traveling and I go to a hotel. I look and I check the head of the bed. I peel the sheets back.
Yep.
I slide the mattress down. I'll lift up the box spring. I'm a pest control guy. I've got 3 flashlights on me right now. I've got one that I carry with me. It's one of my everyday carries. It's just a little bitty one, but it's bright and it does exactly what I need it to do. It lets me see in the dark.
Mhm.
So get you a flashlight. If you're traveling, you're not sure if the hotel's seems weird or if it doesn't seem weird. I check it everywhere. If we go to Airbnb, I'm looking at seats on public transportation. I'm looking at seats at the hospital. I'm looking at seats at doctor's offices. Anywhere where other people may have been and you don't know where they've been, I look. I look.
Yeah, I do too. I pull the sheets up. I have not picked up the mattress in hotels, but I guess maybe I will now, or at least push it away so I can try and see if I see anything. I'll tell you something. I saw a reel of the person in the hotel, and they turned the iron on and went over the edge of the bed, right over the sheets, with a warm iron, and then picked up the sheets. and there were the bed bugs. They were attracted to the warmth. Does that work?
I don't know about they were attracted to the warmth, but if they were right on the edge of the bed, that's where they're going to harbor. So they'll be in those seams. We talked about that. They'll be in those cracks, crevices, seams, gaps, anywhere where they can fit their body. They can fit into a crack as thin as a credit card, and they'll just wedge in there. I've got hundreds of pictures of them stuck in little cracks and crevices where you just wouldn't even think to look. The steam is the bed bug's enemy. So if you get them hot, they die. If you can get them hot and sustain the heat for a long enough time, they die. So what I think you probably saw in that reel was probably akin to some type of steam treatment if they were using steam. I don't know that that would work. I know that heat kills them. That seems dangerous to me personally.
I think they were trying to lure them out of some crevice somewhere
They
to see
they'll
if they
run
were
if it's
there.
hot. They don't like it. They run and then they just die.
I see. You don't need an iron, is your point, to carry out an inspection in a hotel or somewhere else to check that. All right,
Flashlight, yes. Iron, no.
got it. All right, we'll take your flashlight. Pack your flashlight in your suitcase. What about any other information, education about this that you can impart to folks in terms of prevention and awareness?
Awareness is the key. There's pictures on our website of bed bugs. There's thousands and thousands of accurate pictures on a Google search. If you look for what does a bed bug look like, you can find out. And having that awareness, understanding the biology and the behavior and what they do, they're the heavyweight champs of hitchhiking. That's what they were designed for. They have tiny little hooks on their feet. They're called tarsal claws, and they hook on and they just want to go for a ride. They're in for an adventure, and wherever they're at might not be good enough, so they want to come home with you. Being aware that you don't put your luggage on the floor in hotels. You make sure you're inspecting hotels. Inspect your kid's backpack coming off the school bus. You're going to want to pay attention when they come back, inspect their luggage from camp. I've been to houses where all of these things that I've just said have happened. Well, my kids just came back from camp and now we got bed bugs all the way through the house. Oh,
Oof.
man. I've been to houses where people went to the doctor's office and came. That's the only place that they've been besides their house is the doctor's office. And so the bed bugs didn't just appear there. They're not going to crawl in from outside looking for you.
Yeah, they are hitchhiking all the way. All right.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask you about the luggage on the floor because I've read that if you set your clothes down on the floor, your luggage down on the floor, that's a Cadillac limousine. They're going to hop right in and get on
You
home
got to
with
think
you.
about that though. What if they're on that rack? So there's those little straps that go across that, and they'll get into those creases underneath, and be so inspect that rack too.
Oh, my goodness.
Think
You're
about it.
giving us a lot of homework, Tony. All right. But this is good information. So be watching for these things. How often do you suggest we just peel our sheets back and look?
As often as you change your sheets, I do it at my house because I get exposed to bed bugs. So whenever we change the sheets, every couple of days, I'm doing an inspection just to make sure, because heaven forbid I bring them to my own house.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So now you have a sense for what to expect in a bed bug infestation situation and how Pest Pros will respond. They're going to monitor that and stay in touch with you and educate you every step of the way about that. So take a look at the Pest Pros website. The link is in the show notes for this episode. Call up, ask Tony about your situation if you wish to, and get more info. But the team would be happy to come and talk to you in this kind of a situation. I would imagine by the time they call you, Tony, they're pretty agitated, aren't they?
Bed bugs are considered a public health pest, not because they transmit disease, but because of the level of discomfort and psychological, I don't know another word, trauma.
Yeah.
Because think about it, though, when you sleep, it's supposed to be a safe time, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not supposed to have to worry about bugs while I'm sleeping, and they're everywhere where I'm trying to sleep. So you're not sleeping. Now you're not thinking right. Now there's just so much that's related to it. The emotional and psychological aspect that truly terrorizes people, where I've seen people that have been literally traumatized because of a high level bedbug infestation that stretched on for years.
Yeah.
So
Boy.
I get to be the one that helps. That's the win, is I get to be the one that solves these problems for people.
That is where we're going to leave it, and we're glad you do. Tony Sorrentino, Pest Pros of Michigan, here on PEST PROspectives. Subscribe to our podcast where you get podcasts. Just type it in, PEST PROspectives, and hit that subscription button. Thanks for listening.